Alright everyone, so this video right here is going to be for use of the Extrude tool, which is a 3D model creation tool. You'll see it over here. This is probably the most commonly used function for 3D modeling just because it's essentially the basis of 90% of the things that are 3D modeled. There are things like sweep, loft, and coil that also will do creations that are much more scarcely used. Revolve is a little more often used, but that's used for pieces that have cylindrical and round shapes to them. Extrude is really kind of the catch-all for this, and it's really useful and more universal than all the others. So the way that this starts is we need to create some profile is what we'll call it. It's a sketch, but this is going to be the profile of what gets extruded. I'm going to make a 1x1 cube. Not a 1x1 cube, I'm sorry, a 1x1 square. So we have that, it's fully constrained. We're going to finish the sketch, and then what we're going to do with that is we're then going to extrude it. The extrusion here you'll see automatically popped up where it selected the profile that we want to extrude, and it came up with some distance. This is something that happens many times with the very first extrusion because oftentimes there is only one profile, and since there's nothing else there, you can't cut with it, you can only extrude. So we'll go ahead with what it already has set up. We'll leave this at 1 inch, and really the only thing that we can do is a distance because we don't have any other parts or actual 3D pieces to interact with. So we'll leave it there, and then what we're going to do now is we're going to add another sketch to this, and that is going to work in order to show some of those other features that it has. So I'm going to go ahead and put a circle in there, and I'll just really quick constrain it to fit where I want it. I'll make it a 1/2 inch in diameter. I finish the sketch. Now I'm going to go to extrude. Now you'll notice right away it doesn't automatically choose my profile because I have two different profiles. I have this outer one and this inner profile. I'm going to select the inner one, and you'll notice that oftentimes it'll do this. It will immediately go to the extruder, they call it join on here. I, in this case, don't want to join, I actually want to cut away, which is another function of extrude. So I'm going to select cut. There's also a way that we can change over here the way of dictating how far it goes. Distance would be 1 that it's set at currently, but I can also do 2 next, which would be 2 to the next face. I can do 2, which I would select the face. Between would be if I have 2 objects. I can cut in between them, and then all would go to the very last one. It's an infinite cut, or yeah, typically we use it for cuts actually, but it's going to go all the way. I'm going to do 2 next. I'm going to select my Terminator as this side, and I'm okay. Now you might be saying, well, what's the point of doing a 2 next when I could have just made it 1 inch? And here's where this becomes valuable. I go to my original extrusion and I edit the feature, which is the 3 feature. I'm going to change it to 2 inches. So now that I've done that, it expands my original extrusion to 2 inches. But you'll see my cylinder that went through it is also 2 inches. So the advantage of using the 2 next, or the 2, or the between, is it interacts with the other features as they get changed. It does not just stay stagnant. So if I were to edit this feature and then do distance, what it would have been, and just have it 1 inch, I'm sorry, it would just only go halfway through. So we would see that there. I'll show one more of the features with this. Before I do that, I'll just change this to what we had before, 2 next. You'll see it goes there. I'm going to do one from the side. I'll do a new sketch, and I'll do once again a hole that's a 1/2 inch. I'll make this one actually 1/4 of an inch. So I'll make a circle that's 1/4 of an inch. I'll make it so it's right in the center, both horizontally and vertically. And I have that done now. So I finished my sketch. I'm going to select extrude. With this, once again, I have those two profiles. I'm going to do my inner profile. I'm going to cut, and you can see how we have, once again, the distance typically pops up next. To next, we'll go to that one.
At least I got a tire out of it.
It only goes to the next face. Okay, so there it really terminates after that.
Yeah, these guys.
Right? What I can do is I can edit the feature. I can actually dictate where I want this to come to. So maybe I don't want to go to next. Maybe I want to go to, and I'll go all the way there. So it's really, really helpful in that regard. The between works really similar. I can have it go between there and there. Okay. And we see that right there. That's a pretty good idea of all the pieces within there. You can see I even just try to go up there and select it. It would not let me do so because I need that 2D sketch.
Yeah, if I did like the
But just to kind of review to see what it looks like, you have all these pieces here, their options, and join and cut. Typically, I'm not going to do an intersection. They're very seldomly used. I'm going to almost always do a join and a cut within there. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed.